I am really happy that you are here. If you are watching this video right now, there is a good chance that you have been learning English for a long time. Maybe 3 years, maybe 5 years, maybe even longer. You may know hundreds or thousands of English words. You may understand many English videos. You may understand songs. You may read English messages. You may watch movies with English subtitles. You may even understand what someone says when they speak slowly. But when it is your turn to speak, something changes. Suddenly, your mind becomes empty. You know what you want to say, but you cannot find the words. You think about grammar. You think about pronunciation. You think about whether your sentence is correct. You worry about making mistakes. You become nervous. And sometimes you simply say, "I do not know how to say it." Then the conversation ends. If this sounds like you, I want you to know something very important. You are not stupid. You are not bad at English. You are not too old to learn English. And you are not unable to speak English. The real problem is usually the way you have been practicing. Many English learners spend a lot of time learning English, but they spend very little time actually speaking English. They study vocabulary. They study grammar. They watch videos. They memorize rules. They take tests. They read books. But speaking is a physical skill. Speaking is something your mouth needs to practice. Your brain needs to practice finding words quickly. Your ears need to practice understanding natural speech. And your confidence needs to practice speaking even when you are not perfect. That is why today we are going to talk about why you still cannot speak English and, more importantly, how you can change that. We are going to look at the biggest problems that stop English learners from speaking. We will talk about vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, fear, translation, listening, practice, confidence, and the way you think about mistakes. By the end of this video, you will understand something that can completely change your English learning journey. You do not need to know everything before you start speaking. You need to start speaking so that you can improve. Let us begin with the first problem. You know English, but you do not use English. This sounds strange, but think about it. You may know many English words. You may understand many sentences. But knowing a word and being able to use a word quickly are two different skills. For example, you may know the word delicious. You understand that delicious means very good tasting. You may recognize it immediately when you see it. But imagine someone asks you, "How was the food?" Can you answer immediately? You might say it was good, because good is easy. You know it, you use it often. The word delicious may be somewhere inside your memory, but it does not come out quickly. This is the difference between passive English and active English. Passive English is English you understand. Active English is English you can use if you want to speak fluently. You need to turn more of your passive English into active English. And the only way to do that is practice. Do not only learn a word, use the word. If you learn the word improve, do not simply memorize the meaning. Create sentences. I want to improve my English. I am trying to improve my pronunciation. I improved my speaking this year. Small practice like this teaches your brain how to use the word. The goal is not to memorize thousands of words. The goal is to make the words you already know easier to use. This is why sometimes a person who knows only 1,000 common words can speak more comfortably than someone who knows 5,000 words. The first person uses their words every day. The second person only recognizes words while reading. So stop measuring your English only by how many words you know. Ask yourself, how many English words can I use naturally in a conversation? That is a much better question. The second problem is that you are translating everything in your head. This is one of the biggest reasons English learners speak slowly. You think in your first language, then you check the grammar, then you speak the grammar, then you speak. Imagine someone asks you, "What did you do yesterday?" Your brain may first create the answer in your native language. Then you organize the sentence. Then you organize the sentence. Then you worry about grammar. By the time you are ready to speak, the conversation has already moved forward. This is exhausting, and it makes speaking feel much harder than it needs to be. You do not need to translate every sentence. You need to train yourself to connect situations directly with English. For example, when you see water, think water. When you see a door, think open the door. Think I am hungry. Think I am tired. You are training your brain to connect the meaning directly to English. At first, this may feel strange, but with practice, it becomes more natural. Try describing your life in simple English. I am making coffee. I am going to work. I need to buy food. It is raining today. I am tired. You are training your brain to connect the meaning directly to English. At first, this may feel strange, but with practice, it becomes more natural. Try describing your life in simple English. I am making coffee. I am going to work. I need to buy food. It is raining today. I am tired. I need to clean my room. I am watching a video. These sentences are simple, but simple English is powerful. You do not need complicated sentences to become fluent. You need automatic sentences. The third problem is that you are too focused on grammar. Grammar is important. Of course it is. But grammar should help you communicating. It should not stop you from communicating. Many learners think, I cannot speak until my grammar is perfect. But think about children learning their first language. They make grammar mistakes constantly. They say things incorrectly. But they continue speaking. They listen. They try. They make mistakes. They try again. Over time, their grammar becomes better. You need the same attitude. If you wait until your grammar is perfect before speaking, you may wait forever. You can improve grammar while speaking. For example, maybe you say, "Yesterday I go to the store." Someone understands you. Later, you learn, "Yesterday I went to the store." Now you know you made a mistake. But you also learned. The mistake became part of your learning. Do not be afraid of imperfect English. Your goal is communication first. Accuracy can improve over time. Think about a bridge. At the beginning, the bridge may not be beautiful, but if it allows you to cross the river, it has done its job. Your early English does not need to be perfect. It needs to connect you with another person. The fourth problem is that you are afraid of making mistakes. This is probably one of the biggest problems for adult English learners. You worry? What if they laugh at me? What if my pronunciation is wrong? What if I use the wrong grammar? What if people think I am stupid? But let me tell you something. Making mistakes is not proof that you are bad at English. Making mistakes is proof that you are practicing. Imagine going to the gym. You lift a heavy weight. Your muscles shake. You cannot do the exercise perfectly. would you say? I am terrible at exercise because my muscles are struggling. No, you would say. My muscles are getting stronger. Speaking English is similar. When your brain struggles to find words, you are training it. When you make pronunciation mistakes, you are learning. When you create an incorrect sentence, you are getting feedback. Mistakes are part of the process. The problem is not making mistakes. The problem is refusing to speak because you are afraid of mistakes. You need to change your goal. Do not try to speak perfect English. Try to communicate one idea, then another idea, then another. If you can communicate your meaning, you are making progress. The fifth problem is that you are not speaking enough. This is the simple truth. If you speak English for 10 minutes a week, it will be difficult to become comfortable speaking English. You need more speaking practice. But here is the good news. You do not need to live in America or England to practice speaking. You can practice alone. Yes, you can speak to yourself. This may sound strange, but it works. Look around your room and describe what you see. This is a chair. This is my computer. My phone is on the table. The room is quiet. Then talk about what you are doing. I am making breakfast. I am going to work. I need to finish this task. I am feeling tired today. I have a lot to do. This practice may feel simple, but it trains your mouth, it trains your brain, and it builds speaking confidence. You can also tell yourself stories. Talk about your day. Today I woke up at 7. I had breakfast. Then I went to work. The weather was hot. I met my friend. We talked about our plans. Then I came home. This is real speaking practice. You are not waiting for another person. You are creating the opportunity yourself. The sixth problem is that you are learning individual words instead of phrases. This is a very important lesson. Imagine you learn the words make, decision, but you do not know the phrase make a decision. When you want to speak, you have to build the sentence from individual words. That takes time. Native speakers often use groups of words together. For example, I am not sure. It depends on. I would like to. I have no idea. What do you mean? That sounds good. I agree with you. I do not think so. Give me a minute. Let me think. I am looking for. I am used to. I have never tried. These phrases are extremely useful. Instead of memorizing one word at a time, start learning useful chunks of English. A chunk is a group of words that naturally appear together. When you learn chunks, your brain does not need to build every sentence from zero. You can speak faster. For example, instead of learning the word agree, learn, I completely agree. I agree with you. I do not agree with that. Instead of learning the word sure, learn, I am not sure. Are you sure? I am sure about that. This makes speaking easier. The seventh problem is that your listening is not strong enough. You cannot speak what you cannot hear clearly. Think about conversation. Someone speaks to you. You need to understand what they say. Then you need to create your response. Then you need to pronounce it. So speaking and listening are connected. If you only study written English, you may understand textbooks but struggle with real conversations. Real people speak differently. They connect words. They use contractions. They use informal expressions. They may not pronounce every sound clearly. For example, what are you going to do? May sound much faster In natural speech, I want to can sound like I want to, going to can sound like didja. You do not need to copy every informal expression, but you need to understand that real spoken English may sound different from textbook English. This is why listening practice is important. Listen to short English conversations. Do not only listen once, listen several times. First, listen for the general meaning, then listen again for specific words. Then repeat the sentence. Then try to say it without listening. This technique can improve both listening and speaking. The 8th problem is that you are using material that is too difficult. Many learners think difficult English is better English. Not always. If you listen to something and understand almost nothing, your brain cannot learn effectively. You need material that is challenging but understandable. If you understand most of what you hear, you can learn from the remaining part. Choose conversations that are slightly above your current level. Do not worry if you understand every single word. Focus on meaning. Listen again. Repeat. Practice. You can gradually increase difficulty. This is much better than choosing something extremely advanced and becoming frustrated. The 9th problem is that you do not repeat enough. Many learners watch one English lesson and then move to another. They learn something new every day, but they rarely practice the same thing repeatedly. Fluency requires repetition. Imagine learning to play a song on the piano. You do not play it once and expect your fingers to remember it forever. You repeat it again and again and again. Speaking works the same way. Take one useful sentence. I have been trying to improve my English. Say it 5 times, then 10 times. Say it slowly. Say it naturally. Say it with different emotions. Then use it in different situations. I have been trying to improve my pronunciation. I have been trying to improve my listening. I have been trying to improve my speaking. Now the structure becomes familiar. Repetition creates automaticity, and automaticity creates fluency. The 10th problem is that you are trying to use complicated English. Sometimes English learners think speaking fluently means using difficult vocabulary. That is not true. Look at everyday conversations. People use simple words. How was your day? What are you doing? Are you hungry? Do you need help? What do you think? Where are you going? Do you want to come? Simple English can communicate almost anything. You do not need to impress people with advanced vocabulary. Your goal is to communicate clearly. A simple sentence spoken confidently is better than a complicated sentence that you cannot finish. Start simple, then become more advanced naturally. The 11th problem is that you do not have enough confidence. Confidence is not something you wait for. Confidence comes from evidence. Every time you speak successfully, you create evidence. You say one sentence. You understand the response. You continue the conversation. Your brain learns, I can do this. Then you speak again. You have another successful experience. Your confidence grows. This is why waiting to feel confident does not work. You need to act before you feel completely ready. Think about riding a bicycle. You do not become confident by standing next to the bicycle and watching other people. You become confident by getting on the bicycle. You may feel unstable, but you keep practicing. Speaking English is the same. Get on the bicycle, speak, make mistakes, learn, try again. The 12th problem is that you are comparing yourself with fluent speakers. This can destroy your motivation. You hear someone speaking perfect English and think, I will never speak like that. But you are comparing your beginning to someone else's years of practice. That is unfair. Compare yourself with yourself. Ask, can I speak more today than I could 6 months ago? Can I pronounce this word better? Can I explain my ideas more clearly? Progress does not always feel dramatic. Sometimes you improve slowly, but slow improvement is still improvement. Do not compare your chapter 1 with someone else's chapter 20. Keep moving. The 13th problem is that you do not have a clear speaking routine. You study English when you feel motivated. One day you practice for 2 hours. Then you stop for a week. Then you become motivated again. Then you stop again. This creates inconsistency. Instead, create a small daily routine. Even 15 or 30 minutes can help if you do it consistently. For example, 5 minutes of listening, 5 minutes of speaking, 5 minutes of reviewing useful phrases. You can adjust the time. The important thing is consistency. 30 minutes every day is more useful than 5 hours once a month. Your brain needs regular contact with English. The 14th problem is that you are only studying English when you are sitting at a desk. English should become part of your life. Change your phone language to English if you are comfortable. Write your shopping list in English. Describe your surroundings in English. Describe your surroundings in English. Listen to English while walking. Talk to yourself in English. Write simple messages in English. Read short English articles. Make English part of your daily environment. The more often English appears in your life, the more natural it becomes. The 15th problem is that you are waiting for someone to practice with. Having a speaking partner is wonderful, but you should not depend completely on another person. If your friend is busy, speak alone. If your English partner is unavailable, speak alone. If you have nobody around you, speak alone. You can inscribe your day. You can answer imaginary questions. You can practice conversations. For example, imagine someone asks, "What do you do for work?" Answer, "I work in." Then imagine they ask, "Do you like your job?" Answer, "Yes, I do, because..." Then imagine, "What would you like to do in the future?" Answer, "In the future, I would like to..." This is powerful practice. You are preparing your brain for real conversations. The 16th problem is that you are not practicing pronunciation enough. You may know the correct words, but if you are uncomfortable with pronunciation, you may become nervous. Pronunciation does not need to be perfect. Your goal is to be understandable. Choose a small number of difficult sounds and practice them. Listen to native speakers. Watch how they move their mouth. Repeat. Record yourself. Compare your pronunciation with the example. Do not try to change everything at once. Choose one sound, practice it, then move to another. Also, practice word stress. English rhythm can be very important. Sometimes the correct sounds are not enough. You also need to know which part of the word receives stress. Practice listening and repeating whole sentences. This is called shadowing. You listen to a sentence, then repeat it immediately. Try to copy the rhythm, the speed, the pauses, the emotion, the pronunciation. Shadowing can be one of the best ways to connect listening and speaking. The 17th problem is that you are not recording yourself. Many people hate hearing their own voice. But recording yourself can reveal things you cannot notice while speaking. Maybe you speak too quickly. Maybe you repeat the same word. Maybe your pronunciation needs work. Maybe your sentences are actually better than you thought. Record yourself speaking for 1 minute. Talk about your day. Then listen. Do not criticize yourself. Just observe. What did I do well? What can I improve? Then record again. After 1 month, compare your recordings. You may be surprised by your progress. The 18th problem is that you are trying to remember every word. Sometimes you can explain a word you do not know. Imagine you forget the word refrigerator. You can say, the machine in the kitchen that keeps food cold. The other person understands. That is communication. If you forget the word umbrella, you can say, the thing you use when it rains. You are still communicating. This is a very important skill. Do not stop speaking just because one word is missing. Explain it. Describe it. Use another word. Keep going. Fluent speakers also forget words sometimes. The difference is they know how to continue. The 19th problem is that you do not speak about topics you actually care about. If you hate a topic, it can be difficult to practice. Choose topics you enjoy, your favorite, food, movies, travel, music, sports, business, technology, your goals, your daily life, your hobbies. When you care about the topic you naturally want to communicate, this makes practice easier. If you love cooking, talk about cooking. If you love cars, talk about cars. If you love music, talk about your interests. That is how English becomes a real communication tool instead of just a school subject. The 20th problem is that you think fluency means speaking without stopping. It does not. Even native speakers pause. They say, let me think, let me see. They pause while thinking, so do not feel bad if you need time. You can use natural phrases to give yourself time. Let me think about that. That is an interesting question. I am not sure how to explain it. Give me a second. What I mean is, these phrases help you keep the conversation going. You do not need to answer instantly. Now, let us create a simple speaking system that you can use every day. First, speak for 5 minutes about your day. Do not write a script. Just speak. Second, choose 5 useful phrases. Practice each phrase several times. Third, listen to a short English conversation. Listen 3 times. Fourth, repeat the conversation. Try to copy the speaker's rhythm. Fifth, speak about one topic for 5 minutes. For example, my hometown, my job, my family, my goals, my favorite movie. Then record yourself. Listen. Choose one thing to improve. The next day, repeat the process. This simple routine can change your speaking ability if you stay consistent. You do not need expensive courses. You do not need perfect conditions. You do not need to wait for tomorrow. You can start today. Now let us talk about the most important mindset. Stop saying, I cannot speak English. There is a huge difference. There is a huge difference. The first sentence sounds permanent. The second sentence describes a process. You are not finished. You are learning. You are improving. Every time you speak, you are becoming better. Maybe today you can speak for 2 minutes. Next month, maybe 5 minutes. Then one day you realize you are having a conversation without translating every sentence. That moment will come, but you need to keep practicing. Let us summarize the key lessons. First, knowing English is not the same as using English. Turn passive vocabulary by using words in sentences. Second, stop translating everything. Train your brain to connect ideas directly with English. Third, do not wait for perfect grammar. Speak and improve your grammar along the way. Fourth, do not be afraid of mistakes. Mistakes are part of learning. Fifth, speak every day. Even a few minutes of speaking can help. Sixth, learn phrases instead of only individual words. Useful chunks make speaking faster and more natural. Seventh, improve your listening. Good speaking depends on good listening. Eighth, use English that you can understand. Do not make everything unnecessarily difficult. Ninth, repeat what you learn. Repetition creates automatic speaking. 10th, use simple English. Simple English spoken clearly is powerful. 11th, build confidence through action. Do not wait for confidence before speaking. 12th, compare yourself with your past self, not with someone who has been speaking English for years. 13th, create a daily routine. Consistency is more important than occasional long study sessions. 14th, make English part of your everyday life. 15th, practice even when you do not have a speaking partner. 16th, work on pronunciation gradually. 17th, record yourself. 18th, learn how to explain words you forget. 19th, talk about topics you enjoy. 20th, understand that fluency does not mean never pausing. Now, I want you to make a promise to yourself. Do not wait until your English is perfect. Start speaking with the English you already have. If you know only simple words, if your grammar is not perfect, speak anyway. If your pronunciation is not perfect, keep practicing. If you make mistakes, learn from them. If you forget a word, explain it. If you feel nervous, speak slowly. If you do not have a partner, speak to yourself. There is always a way to practice. Your English does not need to be perfect today. It needs to be better tomorrow. One sentence tomorrow. A short conversation next week. A longer conversation next month. This is how fluency grows. Not through one magical lesson, but through thousands of small moments of practice. And remember something very important. Your mouth needs training too. Your brain may know the answer, but your mouth needs to become comfortable producing English sounds. That is why speaking out loud matters. Do not only read silently. Open your mouth, say the words, repeat the sentences, tell stories, ask questions, answer yourself, practice conversations, speak, and speak again. One day you will notice something different. You will hear an English question, and instead of translating it, you will understand it. You will answer. Then you will hear another question, and you will answer again. You will make a mistake, but you will continue. You will forget a word, but you will explain it. You will simply keep communicating. That is real progress. That is the beginning of fluency. So, if you have been learning English for years and still feel unable to speak, please do not give up. You are probably closer than you think. You may not need more information. You may need more practice. You may not need another grammar book. You may need to open your mouth and speak. You may not need to memorize another 1,000 words. You may need to use the words you already know. You may not need to wait for confidence. You may need to practice while you are nervous. Your English journey is not over. It is still moving forward. And today can be the day you change the way you learn. Start small. Start simple. Speak for 5 minutes. Record yourself. Listen. Learn. Repeat. Tomorrow, do it again. Then again. And again. After 30 days, you will have hundreds of minutes of speaking practice. After 6 months, you will have thousands of minutes. Imagine what that can do. Your brain becomes faster. Your mouth becomes more comfortable. Your pronunciation improves. Your vocabulary becomes more active. Your confidence grows. And English slowly becomes part of who you are. So, remember, you do not need to speak perfect English to start. You need to start speaking to become better at English. That is the lesson I want you to remember from today's video. Your English is not stuck. Your English is waiting for practice. Your voice is waiting to be used. Your confidence is waiting for consistency. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today. I hope this video helped you understand why you may still be struggling to speak English and what you can do to change it. If this video gave you value, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support gives me motivation to continue creating more valuable videos to help you improve your English speaking confidence, vocabulary, communication, and personal growth. And if you know another English learner who is struggling to speak, please share this video with them. Maybe they do not need more motivation. Maybe they just need someone to remind them that they are capable of improving. Remember, do not be afraid of mistakes. Do not compare yourself with others. Do not compare yourself with others. Do not stop because progress feels slow. Keep listening. Keep repeating. Keep learning. And most importantly, believe that you can improve. Your English does not have to be perfect. Your voice just needs to be heard. Thank you for watching. Keep practicing. Keep speaking. And I will see you in the next video.